We don't know what those other cycles were caused by in the past. Could be dinosaur flagellants, or who knows.
And joining me now is former Republican governor of New Jersey, Todd-Whitman. She was administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency under George W. Bush, is now president of the Whitman Strategy Group, a consulting firm that specializes in energy and environmental issues. And Tim DeChristopher, returning to the table here, a climate activist and co-founder of the environmental group Peaceful Uprising. It's great to have you both here.
Good to be with you.
So, we bump back in with the president's long section on the Clean Air Act because that is one of the key policy elements announced today in the speech. And I want to just explain this briefly for people, and then I want to get your response to it, Christine. The Clean Air Act regulates things that are dangerous or harmful to public health, right? And in fact requires the EPA to regulate pollutants that are dangerous and harmful to public health. The courts have found that carbon pollution is such a dangerous pollutant.
Right.
And my understanding is that under the court's finding, it wasn't just that the EPA had the power to regulate carbon, it was then required.
It is required.
Isn't that so? The president today, what struck me as interesting is the president announced today that he's directing the EPA to draft rules for existing power plants that give off a lot of our carbon pollution. But in fact, that was actually required by law. I mean, it gives you a little bit of sense of where the politics are on this issue, that telling the EPA to do its lawfully required job is newsmaking.
I know. That's, well, to the extent that this makes news at all, unfortunately. Right. It is. It's something the EPA is required to do. He was calling out particular sections in a particular part of the energy industry on which to focus, or the energy industry. So that you could argue was slightly different and slightly new. But no, EPA they went to court. They said they've had a finding that, in fact, carbon was bad, injurious to human health. It was taken to court because everything EPA does is taken to court. And the court backed them up on that. So there's no question. They've been working on this rule for a while, and what he did is set some timelines of when they're supposed to come out with it. And it really wouldn't be come out with a final rule and require the utilities to be back to the agency with how they were going to meet it till 2015.
So let me just make the stakes clear for people, right? We've got a lot of the carbon pollution happening in our economy is coming directly from coal. I mean,
40% comes from the energy industry overall, and fossil fuels.
And a big part of that is coal.
Yes.
And in directing coal-fired power plants, currently existing ones, and putting rules on them, this could actually be a quite seismic shift in what our emissions are.
Oh, it would be. And you're already seeing a shift within the energy industry away from coal. Coal used to be 50%, and it's now down to about 48%. What you'll do is you'll see other clean coals, not clean coal, but clean energy and renewable energy, both nuclear, wind, solar, start to have a bigger play.